Welcome from Munich. We have on the left Apple iPhone 6 and then on the right the Apple iPhone 6s. S means we have, of course, again a little update, which means not a faster, not a new design, but just only a faster processor, a little bit more RAM, better camera, and it's heavier now and a little bit thicker, 7.1 versus 6.9 millimeter thickness and 129 gram on the left versus 143 grams on the right. So 10% heavier the new Apple iPhone 6s. And the main reason for that is not that the battery got bigger, it got actually smaller. Instead of 1810, we have now 1715 milliamps, but the battery life is the same. But what we have now inside is 3D touch, which means you have force touch, so you can press something a little bit harder and then something happens on the screen. You can press on the side a little bit harder and then the last apps should open actually right that, and so on and so on. I will show you all of that to you guys in a second when we go around the software a little bit. First, the hardware on the outside, as I said, not much has changed, or actually nothing at all, except for that we can buy it in a new color now, rose gold, but as you can see, the silver versus gold one looks exactly the same from the bottom, from the side, and from this side also, so it doesn't matter which one you would buy, you would get the same design, except for on the back we have now, of course, the S, and then here we have no S, but still the nice little glass or mirror view here with your Apple. And the camera, when we go a little bit closer, you can definitely see that we have here only an 8 megapixel camera versus 12. You can see the megapixel, but there's a different camera inside built in, that's for sure. So here there was a Sony camera, and now I think Apple has switched to something different. Nobody knows yet exactly, but yeah, we have here both iPhones lying before us and we can just try out them both, for example, with Touch ID. Now I have on both my right thumb here inside, so what I can do is just unlock it on the right, and then you can count the seconds, which is none, and I can unlock it on the left and you can count the seconds, which is a little bit longer. There seems to be a quiet lingering in between, but that's not much of a difference if you ask me. So as I said before, the battery is the same, and Apple says the battery life is also the same, but I guess it shouldn't be the same when we have on both the maximum display brightness, and we could check that out when we say on both that we want the battery percentage to be shown, and just see if both use the same percentage with the same display brightness and the same stuff we are doing. So to enable the battery percentage, the only thing you have to do is usually go to battery here, which is not available on iOS 8 here on the outside, and I cannot search for it, so I always forget where to find that. Display brightness, no. Sorry guys for that I didn't set it up before, but usage maybe, and battery percentage, here we go. So we have 61 and 88. Was 89 a second ago, but 88. And what we'll do now is compare the two cameras, because we have 8 versus 12 megapixels on the back, and let's just open up on both the camera app and let's turn that around on both photo mode, what both can do. So we have in the back the two packages of the iPhone 6s and 6, and you can see on the right that the wide angle might be a little bit better, because the package is a little bit bigger in the picture, but where it's a little bit better visible maybe is when I go to square mode, that we have on the right just more of the package in the picture. Panorama mode, again, almost the same, but there's a lot more space above the package than on the left, if you ask me, and especially visible with the sensor. You can see the difference here when we go to the video mode, where we have on both right now the full HD features set up, and let me actually do it like this, so you guys can see exactly if it's about similar. But what's new now on the right is with the new iPhone 6s is that you can record up to 4K videos. That's really kind of crazy. And the slow motion is not only 720p anymore like on the left, but you can record now full HD slow motion, and you can see that more of the screen is visible here than also. I try to hold both the same way, but there's just a better wide angle here available on the new iPhone 6s, except for in time-lapse. That's interesting. In time-lapse, the screen or the wide angle is better on the old one. That's crazy. Let's turn the camera around, not for time-lapse, but for regular picture time, because here we have also 1.2 versus 5 megapixels. and that means the sharpness should be a lot better, but it seems to be exactly the same here on both smartphones when you look at it first, but later when you zoom in, maybe it's a little bit better. So let's just hit on both the picture button. Let's check out on both the pictures, and let's zoom in on my camera, for example. And here also let's zoom in on my camera. And then, yeah, we can see that it looks a little bit clearer on the right. So that's why 5 megapixels are a little bit better than just 1.2. And now you can, of course, also record full HD videos in selfie mode. Now, one of the main reasons actually to buy the new one is, and I think the only one, is to have the 3D touch technology, which means that I can just press, for example, a little bit stronger here the preview mode for the last pictures, and you can see I can just browse through my last pictures here on the bottom by just holding my thumb on the last picture without having to open in here the whole gallery that you already know. So I can just hit done again, and if I just force touch it, I can go through the last pictures at ease like this. Or for example, on the home screen, I can just force touch the camera and start recording a video right away. Don't have to go through long menus and so on. So that's one of the reasons to get the 6S, and the other might be that the processor is faster with 1.8 gigahertz instead of 1.4. Both have dual core, and now we have 2 gigs of RAM, not only 1 gig of RAM like on the left. So for that, the game would be quite nice to try out, like for example Tomb Raider Relic Run. Let's start it up on both and let's see which one will load faster. Probably the right one, because we have, as you can see, we're already inside, more RAM. So it's still loading and loading. She's already bored. And now here we can also start to play. Alright, so that means we can just touch the screen and start running. Now this will be quite hard to do on both at the same time, since you can see different things are happening. Here on the right I don't have to do anything yet. On the left I have to jump already. Here I can jump also. But yeah, I hope not to die that quickly. But yeah, you can see on both it's running quite smoothly, and I died on both, so that's alright. Yeah, there's not much of a difference except for at the beginning when you just start up the game. Otherwise, the screens have the same resolution, 750 times 1334. Collect. And then, yeah, otherwise there's not much else to say about both devices, because the feeling of both is exactly the same. Using it, you can see here, using both, it's quite fun and quick, and there's not much of a difference in everyday use except for with the cameras and maybe gaming, that you don't have to wait that long. Thank you much for tuning in. This was a really short comparison with the Apple iPhone 6 and iPhone 6s. I hope you liked my video. More comparisons with, of course, other smartphones compared to the 6s and 6s Plus coming up. So thank you much for watching again, and see you guys soon with more interesting videos.